Or so you have any queries around that, please reach out to us. Maybe we can have a discussion here. And bilaterally also, we are open to have a discussion. Second, what we are planning to do is with the industry expert, we want, if you guys are looking forward to having one-on-one interaction, we can have some mentorship sessions. To start with, our co-founder and CTO, Siddharth Shetty, who's author of Internet also, he would also like to have interaction with the companies who have started working and building on the framework right now or on the hackathon. So please reach out to me bilaterally. Meanwhile, I'll float a form and also might do a poll for getting interest. And on 18th, mostly we are planning a in-person meeting. 6 to 8, we'll share you the timing and confirmation there. But this will happen at Bangalore office. We will bring in industry expert and maybe some VCs, and also we'll invite other companies who can help you in during this hackathon. So please feel free to have it's a open discussion. We can let you know how we can help you. Just bounce it off to us and we can just share what we know. So any issue related to tech, any one of you can come unmute and say while onboarding if you are facing some issue or any sandbox related issue, anything you want to know on product side or business side.
Hey Abhishek, this side.
Hi Deepika, yeah.
So I have little confusion. The onboarding flow very much clear, the consent flow especially. So would someone be able to just walk us through that?
For the onboarding, Deepika, your voice was
Hello, am I
breaking.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible, but the voice was cracking between. But yeah, go ahead. So can you repeat the question?
So I'm saying the consent flow, it's little confusing. So it would be great if someone can just walk us through the flow diagram which is on Safe website. If someone
Mhm.
can just walk us through that.
Sure. So we have Surinder from Save. Surinder, you'd like to take this?
Sure, yeah, I'll do that. You want to see the user journey as a like a UI
So
thing or
we
like
are,
understand the API?
yeah, we are acting as an FIU. So I just want to understand the journey with regards what all we'll have to integrate and how the flow happens. Which screen will be on AA side, which screen will be on FIU side, and how FIU backend and front end will be involved from that perspective.
Okay, I'll take this in two parts. One, I'll
Sure.
just share a demo video, how in general works. Then we'll go into technical walkthrough. 1 minute. This is one of the demo video that we did. So this is a lending app. It's called Monies, and in which the user is asked to enter a loan application form. The name, mobile number, PAN is used. This is still an FIU application. The user inputs a PAN and then asks to enter the OTP. Once the OTP is entered, the lender will pull the CIBIL data, right? So once that is done, they are asking to enter the salary information, whether your salary, which company, what is your monthly income. Now the user is asked to share their bank statements via AA to verify their income, like the salary that I mentioned, and also the employer. So what you can do is through AA, you will be able to get the narration string and also verify the employer name as well, the legal name. So yeah, so now the choice of AA is given to the user, and the moment the user clicks on save, user is taken to the save screen. So in detail we'll go into technical how this transfer happens, but for right now the user journey, the user picked an account aggregator, and then the journey starts from there. Okay. I'm gonna call. So the user picks the bank that they have the account with, and then they confirm the phone number. Now the account is discovered from your bank. Now the linking happens. So the linking triggers a OTP from the bank. So the bank will send you a OTP, and you input the OTP sent by the bank. So once the user inputs the OTP, the account gets linked. Now the consent is presented. This is the consent screen. The user can approve or reject the consent. The transaction date, the purpose, duration, and then the account type, one time or periodic, and then how long the data will be stored for. This is a data life. So all information is presented over here. The user approves or rejects the consent, and then once consent is approved, the user is redirected back to the lender app. So now the lender decides, do some analytics. In this case, the TSP does the analytics, and then gives the lender the analyzed process information. So the lender sends the process information to the BRE, the business rule engine, to approve the loan or not. So once it is approved, the loan approval limit is shown, and the user can pick the EMI, and then they get the money to their account. Any doubt in the flow? Non-technical doubts in anything if you have.
No, not non-technical. Would appreciate if you can just say which screen, which API is called on which screen.
Yes. I'll show you 1 minute. So are you looking to build the FIU module in-house, or are you using the Bootstrap one? The FIU module that
Sorry,
we
I
shared.
didn't get you.
So, okay. This is the actual specification given by the Rabbit. You can follow this spec to implement, the connecting with an AA. So what happens here is that this is a Docker image. That is a simplified version of the Revit spec. So this lets you create a consent and create the URL, and also lets you fetch the data and decrypt it as well. So everything's taken care of with the Docker image. So if you are building it from scratch, you can use this, or the Sahamati has a documentation as well, which is on developer.sahamati, which you will have. Yeah, this one. So you will be calling this API, consent creation API, which is the first step.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
assumption you are calling safe. In this case, the user have picked the particular account AA, or you have decided to interact with safe AA to create a consent at this step. So there are use cases where there is bank selection happens before the AA selection itself, because unavailability of the FIP in the AA, those things are there. So that we have seen in the market that bank selection happens before AA. So those things are there. But right after you decide to create a consent, you can call this API to create a consent. So you can refer this document. So do you want me to cover the implementation of this, or
No, not the variables.
So Rinder, I think what Deepika is saying,
Yeah.
you can map the APIs with the screens.
Correct.
जो आपने demo दिखाया है ना, so
Right.
when the initial stages of consent creation, where the FIU send notification, तो front end में क्या हो रहा है, just map it to the back end. If you can open
like,
the demo.
no, but do they want to understand just use the Docker image, or
नहीं, they so Docker is the same module,
Right.
FIU module, right? Where
Yeah, yeah.
all these APIs are pre-integrated.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So I think, Surinder, how we should take it? We should take it in two steps. First is if you can just walk them through how the FIU interaction is happening. while you have the demo, if you can just stress upon at the first stage when consent creation happens, how does
Right.
the next API, which is the next API, and वो similar map कर सकते हो ना, if that can happen, I think that will give a logical sense to them how the system is getting operated.
Sure. So this is the this Docker images Postman collection. So I had already done the configuration. I'm going to create a consent now. This is the first API. So you create a consent with an artifact of when the consent start, expiry, consent mode, which is a one-time or periodic. Uh, this is the type of data, profile, summary, transactions, and then which is a deposit, equities, mutual funds, ETF, and all that. And also you have to send the customer's phone number over here. I'm gonna change it to different one. Yeah.
Mm. So
And
I think just tell them what API it is. They can then delve deeper into it, right?
right.
That would be sufficient.
Uh,
Yeah. So
So,
purpose. Yeah.
so first stage is like we just show them the API which is consent creation, which happens before the redirection, right? If
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can open the uh, demo, we should tell them mapping with that.
Right.
Yeah. If you can just help me with the demo, just
Sure.
correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
So the moment the user clicks on save, uh,
Correct. Now which API gets
yeah.
it?
So you'll have to call this API along with the callback URL. This is the return URL where the user comes back to. So you create a consent.
So this is a consent request API, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
So
in
once a,
consent request API, what all basic broad 4 5 big parameters, if you can just highlight, it will have all the consent parameters. It will have which data type is required,
yes.
for how long it is required. It is one time or it is a recurring,
Yeah.
and it will also have a callback URL which guides them after the whole session ends of, because this will now redirect uh, once the customer selects account aggregator on the FIU app, it will redirect to a account aggregator app. And
Yeah.
then from once he completes the journey at AA app, where will it land? So that is a callback API, what, right? Then what
Yes. True.
happens next, Surinder, once this
So
is
you'll
passed?
have to redirect the user to this URL.
Okay.
User sees the screen. User inputs the OTP. It's in Sandbox. It's 1234. So I already have my account linked. Let me just show you a different journey where the account discovery happens. I'm raising the consent for a different phone number.
Sorry, I have a question here.
Yeah.
How did you, where is the documentation for specifying the redirection URL? I mean, I assume we need to pass some secrets and some encrypted
Yes.
stuff there.
So as you can see, I'm using a wrapper microservice that already implemented the redirection spec as well. So what happens here is first step is to you can follow the steps over here to clone the repository and then run the Docker image, the Docker Compose app. So once you do that, you have to create an app. So once you create it, uh, app ID and app secret is generated
Okay.
and that is stored. Once you do that, you have to add an FIU.
Okay.
So in order to add an FIU, you pass the entity ID that you issued from Sahamati, that you would
Okay.
have filled the form, and
Mhm.
you pass the secret key. The secret key you can use IAM APIs to get the latest one, right? And then the key pair. So the key pair is the one that you generated in the using the online tool.
Yeah.
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 You have to input the key pair as a JSON, and then this is set to true. This is for proxy. So proxy is not there in production. So this is you can enable this for UAT for the time being.
Okay. And just to confirm, the secret is from that secret/read API, right?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
So once you do that, 1 minute. Anything urgent? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna call. I'll call you back. Yeah, sure. Please do. Yeah. So once you do that, you'll be able to fetch this FIU. Only thing is that you wouldn't have the AAs enabled. So you have configured the FIU and the AA is not enabled over here. So what you have is you have to add an AA. So in order to do that, you send the AA entity ID and then the redirection secret key. The secret key I have shared in the group. It is static for all participants for safe AA. So if you are connecting with different AAs, you will have to reach out to that AA to get the secret key for that AA.
But Surinder, this
Yeah.
how will this get connected to proxy? Because logically,
This is not connected to proxy. This is directly connected to safe AA.
okay, but that choice will not be there for the team.
No, because only the consent Rabbit APIs is passed through via proxy.
Mhm.
Right?
Okay.
That is the problem only solved in proxy, no? The connectivity problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
So
can't this system redirect to proxy? Can you?
no, maybe we can have a separate discussion, but right now it is not. Let's not
Acha.
confuse them for right now. And but
No
yeah,
worries,
but
no worries. It is
how
okay.
would
Yeah.
you redirect to proxy? Because I don't get it.
Okay, we can have a
Surinder,
separate discussion on this.
Yeah.
Surinder,
Yeah.
Sahamati Net enabled means what?
It is means whether so let me explain you in different way.
मुझे लगता है सुरेंद्र we are going round and round. So
Yeah.
what we should do is there are two part of discussion with Deepika asked. First
Yeah.
one is let's
Complete
let
that.
them
Yeah.
complete the flow without this Docker wala thing, right, Surinder?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
logical
Sure.
flow we should go that what happens after after every step and which is the API which gets hit, and then we'll come back on the Docker container
Sure.
image whatever you call this और उसको explain करेंगे कि इससे कैसे solve करें. So anybody who wants to use it, build their own journey, build their own FIU module, they are free to go ahead and they also get a sense of how the flow happens.
Exactly.
So let's go back to where we started. I remember that we discussed about the first stages, which is consent creation, which happens when before the redirection happens. Deepika, are you there with me?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Surinder, if you can just move ahead. What is the next step after consent creation? You said it is discovery, right?
Yeah. So once the redaction
So
happens,
just a second. This redirection link would be to a AA, right?
yes.
And for hackathon, if you're opting for safe, so safe has provided its own AA, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So the OTP sent to the user. So in this case, the OTP is 1234.
And it can be
I
any
have
mobile
one
number.
question. This OTP flow will be handled by A, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So now when I
Just a second. So even this OTP is this static 1234 or
Yes.
will we get on the fly?
No, it is only in production we send the OTP for testing. It is 1234.
Okay, and like user will actually get 1234 or just we have to assume it's 1234 and just prompt in.
No, the SMS is not being sent. In order to avoid
cool.
sending SMS, we have a static OTP.
Cool.
Yeah. So now the FIP simulator is there. So this is connected via proxy. So when you discover it, the safe backend, safe AA server backend triggers account discovery through proxy only to connect via the FIP. An account is discovered and then the
So
linking
if you can
happens.
just take them through discovery API, so this would be a API call, right?
But as an FIU, they are not required to connect with FIP, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So as an FIU, they only connect with AA. If at all the participant is building an AA module, they can interact with FIP.
No, agreed. Let's stick to FIU based APIs.
Yeah.
But before the discovery, won't FIU get to know that the user has approved the consent?
No, the user have not yet approved the consent. Only
Okay.
Yeah, discovery is happening right now. So now I
To
enter
answer it will the user will get to know once the whole journey is completed on a page.
Yeah. So the OTP is 123456. Once the OTP is entered from the bank, the account gets linked, and then the consent screen is shown. So this consent is populated by the information that is sent via the consent creation API.
I have one question here.
Yeah.
For that, I have multiple bank accounts.
Yeah.
So here we are showing all accounts in this page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So if you have 3-4 accounts, you'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4 accounts over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Surinder, just basic question, might be
Yeah.
I'm wrong. If there are 4 accounts, they have to create 4 accounts to simulator, or it is pre-populated?
I am assuming Setu will go live soon. So once that is done, they might have 2-3 accounts in the bank itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But simulator is not capable of handling this?
Simulator can give multiple accounts actually. It can.
So Mahesh, please confirm if you're there. So
during account discovery, you have to return 3-4 accounts.
Yeah, yeah. Right now it is returning only one. We can enable, it's an array. We will enable it to have multiple, randomly we'll enable it to have multiple accounts.
okay.
That
And
is
the
okay. That is okay, right, Surender?
It is okay. The only thing is that it is a checkbox. The
Hmm.
user might uncheck. Let's say you give me 3-4 accounts. User can unpick 3 accounts, only discover 1. But linking will have a static response of 4 accounts. No? That might be a problem. Abhishek,
Okay.
let's stick with 1 account for now. This is better for demo. Once A2 is there, we'll have more accounts here. Let's not introduce something new. It's fine now for 1
So
account.
I was just thinking from a discovery perspective, if there are 4 different accounts, like
Yeah,
so
I
it's
can show you in UAT right away. Do you want me to show it?
it's okay. We should stick to what we have on Sahamati Net.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. Let's not confuse them.
Yeah. I think once Setu is there, we might have more picture into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the user can see the consent artifact and then approve or reject it. So once the consent is approved, I will get a notification. I'll just show you over here. So once the consent is approved, so I receive a notification from the Sahamati net, and then it is processed. So once I do a consent fetch, it will return me the accounts that the user approved. So after this,
just a minute, to clarify.
yeah.
So once the whole consent is the consent journey has been completed, logically at the back end, FIU and FIP receive a consent artifact,
Yes.
which talks about for whatever data, whatever consent parameters you as a customer agreed on.
Yeah, AA and the FIP do a handshake of the consent.
Correct. And a copy goes to FIU also, right?
FIU.
And then when FIU want to fetch the data, they have to do a FI fetch,
Yes,
right?
yeah, FI request.
FI request, which this is another API which you have to implement, which Surinder will show you.
Yeah.
Devika, is it clear?
Yeah.
So in the background of this API, it is actually calling 2 different APIs. When you see the Rabbit API. So this consent creation, in the background of this API, it is calling the consent handle to check the status of the consent, whether it is approved or not. Once it is approved, the consent ID is there. With that consent ID, I will be able to fetch the signed consent. So signed consent is a JWS. It has a payload. With that payload, you will be able to get the list of accounts that the user approved the consent for. So what the module is doing is extracting this information from this payload and then returning it to the FIU. Basically making it easier for you to consume. Yeah. So once this is done, you have the consent handle and then the list of accounts that the user have approved. Now we can data fetch. Under data fetch, we have data request. So once you can send the consent handle and yeah. So you set the consent handle and then in what date range you have to pull data from. So FA request, as you can see, I'll also go back to the Rabbit. So the data request, FA request API, you have to specify what date range that you are pulling data for. Let's say for last 6 months or last 3 months, right? So, and that should be within the date range of the consent artifact. So once you raise an FA request, once you do a FA request, this is a curve implementation. So Rabbit has the support for 2 different curves. One is curve 25519, and then there is this X25519, which is the latest one. For the time being, you can use the curve itself, the older one itself, because we have certain FIPs who having issues in the newer curve. So as an ecosystem, we are using the older one for the time being.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In the consent part of the body, there is something called digital signature. Where do we get that from?
This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the signature part of this JWS. So JWS is separated by 3 parts, separated by dots like
Consent
this.
fetch.
Yeah.
We get that.
So the value that you're sending here is exactly this part, the highlighted part.
Okay. So
it is contains of header, payload, and signature. It is in the signature part of the consent artifact.
got it.
So this is the signature, and then you send the public key. So the key materials is covered in the end-to-end encryption. So you can go to this repository to try out the encryption part if you are implementing it. Here it is entirely taken care by the module itself. So once the request is made, what happened? Yeah. So it is not within the time range of the consent artifact. So once a consent request is made, the session ID is issued. So what happens is that once it is done, okay, because the FIP simulator doesn't do a data fetch, I can't show you the fetch data. Abhishek, will have to.
1 minute. Can you please go back to the AA UI?
Yeah.
So,
This one or?
yes. After OTP,
1 minute. Let me create a new one. But I'll just complete this flow. So once you do this fetch, you will get the data. So just that in proxy right now, there is no FIP delivering the data. So as an AA, I can't fetch and show the information right now. So once the data is available in the ecosystem, in the proxy, we'll be able to deliver that as well.
तो सुरेंद्र प्रॉक्सी में डेटा है ना एफआईपी का ही सिमुलेटर में लोडेड नहीं है?
I haven't
No,
tested it.
Abhishek, the simulator deposit data, we are loading it today.
Okay.
Surinder, let's test it tomorrow and then it is easy for
Sure.
everyone to showcase.
Sure.
Yeah.
So once that
We are
is
loading
done,
it today.
so once the data is ready, you will get a callback to this URL, whichever you have configured. So this is like a internal, like you have another service called the use case, the PFM app or investment advisory app, which has an endpoint which this service will notify whenever the data is ready. So once you receive that notification, you can fetch the data from the FA module. Yeah. So someone asked me, any doubt, Deepika?
All this will go in the back
It's
Your
your
voice
audio
is
is
breaking.
breaking.
Oh,
No, you are not audible. I think
We- we-
no, Deepika, you are not audible. Hello.
yeah,
I think we can regroup that. Someone asked me a doubt on the journey.
yeah,
I will create a
Yes,
consent
yes.
again.
After OTP flow, how this API is integrated? Yes.
So what happens is this is safe UI, the AA UI. The
Okay.
AA UI has connecting with the APIs of the AA directly in this case. Are you looking to build a custom journey?
यस यस यहाँ पे जो बैंक अकाउंट का लिस्टिंग आया ना, इसके बाद
Yeah.
हम एक्सेप्ट कंसेंट करेंगे, राइट? आफ्टर
Yeah.
दैट व्हाट विल हैपन?
So are you looking to customize this journey?
यस यस.
Right. If you want to do that, I have posted that in the WhatsApp group. 1 minute. Yeah. So I have a public collection that lets you implement your own redirection custom journey if you want to build an UI on top of that. So there are some regulatory requirements for production, but let's not for the hackathon, let's not go to that. But for a hackathon, you can create your own journeys using the APIs. So I'll just walk you through quickly. You can implement the encryption decryption. That's also up to you to implement that. You have to create the URL and then send the FI, EC request, encrypted request, and the request date. This is as per the redirection specification. You send this, and this would return the values of whatever is sent over here. This is for sending information from the FIU to AA for redirection specification. But it is optional actually if you want to implement it, but not but it's really an optional value for non-production use cases. So yeah, the first step is OTP. You enter the phone number, you set this to true, OTP is generated. And once that is done, you enter the OTP, the default OTP 1234. The phone number and the reference number is there. Now the OTP is verified, the token is generated. This token is valid for 60 seconds. Once it is expired, you can use the refresh token and call the refresh token to get you a new token for the same next 60 seconds. This is how it works, and this works for 30 minutes. The refresh token expires in 30 minutes. The next step is get the FIP list. I'm just disabling this for now. I don't have the consent. Let me do that. This is different Postman workspace. Okay. So this would give you a list of all accounts linked in the users. Okay, this is UAT. That is why I'm getting accounts from different entities. Let me change to hackathon and re-trigger the OTP again. 1 minute. Yeah. So OTP is triggered. OTP is being verified. Token generation valid for it is increased to okay. Yeah. So you get the FIP list. FIP list is going to give you the list of FIPs over here, as you can see, as you saw it in the UI. So we have pension bank account, which we have from simulator, FIP Prajna, and then we have Setu FIP and Setu FIP2 and all that. And then account discovery. In account discovery, you can send the FIP name and then the identifier, in this case, the user phone number. Because the account is already discovered and linked. So considering that no accounts are found, I'll just show you that. So I'm gonna delink this account. Once that is done, the account is delinked. I'm gonna call this API again. This should return the the same account which got unlinked. It's gonna linked again. So I am calling the link API. I think it is configured in the scripts. Discovered account. So the array of account is shown here, and the signature part. Signature part is basically you have to send this in the return again. So account is getting linked. OTP is triggered. OTP reference number. And then the OTP verify. In this case, OTP is 123456. And the account got linked. This is the link reference number. And this API returns you list of all linked accounts. And you can get the consent detail from here. Because I'm not passing the consent handle, it is getting nothing. So for approve consents, you send the consent handle and then the link reference number that you got in the linked accounts, the linked account number. So you just send that and the FAP ID to approve a consent. Similarly, reject. You can just pass it reject to reject a consent. So that's it. The same UA journey as an API flow. If you want to create a custom journey without using the safe flow. Yeah. Any doubt in this? I think there is some chat going on. Please share the link of FAU redirection API specification. Sure. So it is in Sahamati GitHub. If you go to GitHub Sahamati and the AA redirection guideline. Just for ease, it's 1.4. I'm just putting it in the chat. Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss?
Yeah, just one question. The redirection URL. I saw this documentation and it specifies the request, but I'm not 100% sure how to implement this. If you can just give a basic idea.
There is a Java sample over here. Is that something you didn't go through it?
Yeah, I'll go through this.
Yeah. So what we have to do is this is your FAU ID, the secret key.
Okay.
So what happens is that first step is to encrypt the FI. So FI is the FAU ID. It is XORed. Encrypt value to XOR, and yeah. What they're doing is the FI is the entity ID, and then the salt is the arg of 0. In this case, arg of 0 is the request state.
Okay.
Request state, right? Wait. I'm pretty sure the salt is the date.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first argument. The 03. This is the timestamp. The timestamp is you remember in request specification there is this request state.
Yeah.
This is the array of 0. The array of 0 is being passed here in the in this salt, right? the salt array of arg of 0.
Okay.
So that get XORed. You can see the function. So this is being returned in the, wait, I shown you on API decode. This is this value, the XORed value.
Okay.
Right? And then the encryption happens. The encryption happens in this API, which is encrypt. Right? So there are two inputs, string to encrypt and then the salt. Again, the salt is the, 1 minute. Where is this being called? Encrypt. Yeah, the salt is a timestamp. And
Okay.
then the string to encrypt is the entire this double quotes.
Yep.
Right? So this is the payload that you are seeing in the request specification. You just have to reconstruct this into a query parameter values. So this is the second parameter, and this gets passed in the string to encrypt.
Yeah.
And then the salt is the request state. And then using the secret key, it gets encrypted
Okay.
over here. So this output is what is being sent in the EC request. So the output is FI, EC request, and the request state, these three parameters.
Okay.
So
Got it.
nuances in the spec is with the timestamp. As you can see, this is triple S.
Yeah.
Triple S means milliseconds, right?
Yeah.
So milliseconds is in the units of 1000.
Yeah.
Right? Triple N is the maximum upper bound for millisecond.
Got
So
it.
the
Got it.
problem is this specification somehow missed the seconds, the 2s. So it has to be 5s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what we do is, we just take the time and then validate it based on that. We just take the, timestamp.
Yeah.
Just the 1051.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. Thank you.
So yeah, that's it for now. Anything else?
I will revert to the questions. Anything else, guys?
There are few more questions. What is CC?
Credit cards.
Yeah, credit card is not there.
Any plans to add it?
No. So currently in ecosystem, there is only asset data. So credit card comes under liability, and at least for the foreseeable future, it is not being considered. But definitely that can be taken up by Abhishek.
Yeah, this can be an assumption, and check if there is some way, like there are ways of scraping, but these are not very secure ways, but you can develop some secure ways of scraping it via email or etc. The Gmail scraping is being done and people are getting this data. Check the market, how it is being happening. But you can assume that if this is something which will come, right now this is a source, but it
Okay.
will become a case for future reference. Okay. So we'll try to get these all the queries as FAQs and get back to you on this. We'll keep having these sessions so that whatever issues you are facing, you will just report to us. Would ask you if there is a form which we have circulated on WhatsApp. Please join WhatsApp because that's a async way of communicating, and we don't wait for such calls. Before that, only we can answer that. If you have not joined, use the links to join it, and we'll have more sessions. And looking forward meeting you all during our uh, physical meetup planned in Bangalore. So happy to have you understand what you are building, and I'm happy to support you in any way possible. Any consented existing loan data for user. Loan data right now, the A framework is built on only for asset data. So asset for from a customer perspective. So there is no loan data which is there, but you can get a sample. Aniket, you are there? If you can share I'll share it. I'll share the link, but you can get the sample statement of account from website, and let me know if you want something on SOA. We'll try to get it for you. But you will try finding out, searching on Google, you will surely have it. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming in. Looking forward for meeting you in person. I will be traveling to Bangalore and we'll have other relevant people for you all. We'll share you those who are attending the event. Looking forward meeting you there. Thank you. Thanks, Surinder. Thanks, Mahesh. Surinder, we can connect separately tomorrow morning जब भी आप free होगे, and we'll
Yeah,
have one.
sure.
Okay.
The
Thank
data flow, right?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.